so today I'm filming a video all about self-care. I meant to upload this earlier, but I didn't have the time, so I'm gonna do it right now. So a lot of these are basic self-care tips that sometimes when we are feeling low or whatever, we neglect. So things like eating, sleeping, all those things. So the first tip that I have is related to eating. This might sound a little bit weird, but I put snacking. Sometimes you might not feel like getting up and making a whole meal or whatever, so something very simple that I like to do is make a protein shake, because that's a way to get in my protein and a lot of my nutrients that I need that day without spending a lot of time in making a whole meal. So if I'm in that mood where I don't feel like getting up and making something huge or spending a lot of effort into just making a meal, then I will go ahead and go for a snack. So whether that's something that like you can pick up, like a smoothie or whatever, or something that you make on your own, so you can make a homemade smoothie, or I made like a homemade protein shake, which was very simple, just with some frozen fruits, I was gonna say vegetables, frozen fruits, protein, and a little bit of peanut butter and almond milk, and it tastes really good. So yeah, honestly, sometimes like you don't feel like getting up and making a meal and putting in that effort, and that's okay, because sometimes like you just don't have the energy for it, you know what I mean? So you obviously know what I mean, but yeah. So just a simple snack, honestly, like even a piece of fruit or something, just to kind of make sure that you're taking care of yourself throughout the day in terms of food. The next thing is one of my recent favorites. It's reading. So I love to read. I have a stack of books over there, that's why I'm looking at it. One of the first things I did when I started quarantine for 2 weeks was I started reading. And the way that I find books is I follow lots of psychologists and like therapists or counselors on Instagram and like on social media. If you didn't know, I am studying psychology and I'm really interested in psychology, so that's why I like that area of like books, but you don't have to like that area to obviously read. But those are just my types of books, like anything to do with like self-improvement, anything about why humans behave the way they do, and just understanding that. That's my area. Just very therapeutic. I feel like you just learn something in your free time, you're not just kind of like scrolling on whatever, and not saying that that's a bad thing, you can do that if you want to, but it's just something to like change up your routine. Like you don't always have to go on your phone when you're bored or whatever. You could read when you're bored. I typically like to read right before bed. I have like a little light that attaches to my book that I can use to just see what I'm reading without like having to turn off the light switch and turn it off again. So that's typically what I like to do. And then in the mornings when I wake up and have my coffee, I also like to read at that time. The next thing is actually having a bath. So I'm going to put bath or shower here because I know not everyone likes to take baths, obviously. I personally don't take them that often. But if I'm having like a self-care weekend or just a day to myself, sometimes I do like to just sit in a bath and like put in some salt or whatever to just kind of relax. But I don't do it often, if I'm going to be honest. So honestly, sometimes it just might be a shower. One thing that actually really helps is getting up and just simply taking a shower. You just feel so much better when you're done. So again, that's something that's very basic, just taking care of yourself in like the domain of hygiene, you know what I mean? So that's another way to take care of yourself. The next thing I absolutely love to do is go out for walks. They don't have to be super long walks or anything, just like around my neighborhood. Or I know some people, like if they have a park nearby, they'll go to that, which is nice. Just being out in nature is actually very grounding, so that's why I put it in one of these self-care tips. I know a lot of people do also like barefoot walking as well, which is really good for grounding as well. But what I typically do is I just walk around my neighborhood, and then sometimes I either listen to music, like a good upbeat playlist, or I call somebody, one of my friends, one of my family members, and just talk to them, see how they're doing, what's up, and stuff like that. It's really important as well. I didn't put this in here, but it is really important to like talk to someone when you're not feeling very well. If you're feeling like you need to talk to somebody, you don't always have to, but it can help to just talk to someone. The next thing is cooking. So I know I said, like when you don't feel like cooking, just grab a snack. So this is something different where like you actually want to put in that effort and make something for yourself, like make a meal for yourself and feed yourself, because sometimes we do neglect our meals when we're not taking care of ourselves very well. And I know this happens to me as well, like when I'm really busy or like I'm just not feeling very well, I tend to not eat very well that day. So whether it's a snack or I decide to make myself a meal, I do that. when I do want to cook something, it usually like inspires me to get up and make something when I find something online, like find a recipe that I want to try. Or you know, you could go for something that you're used to and you know exactly how to do it, so it doesn't take you too long. But honestly, the process of cooking itself can also be very therapeutic, because it's just like you're putting effort into something and making something nutritious for yourself. The next thing I've kind of mentioned, but just putting on a really upbeat playlist can really change your mood and just help you to take care of yourself. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I know I've heard this before. It's like when you're sad and you want to listen to like sad music, it's just gonna make you more sad. So honestly, if you're not having the best of days, or you're just looking for ways to better take care of yourself, I totally recommend like listening to an upbeat playlist, because it's just gonna put you in a better mood. If you're that type of person to like put on a sad playlist when you're sad, try not to do that. I know I used to be that person, but honestly, when I discovered this trick, I was like, I'm gonna do this from now. And the next thing is, I know you can't always do this, but working out. Honestly, I work out not just to like get gains, but also to feel better mentally. It can do wonders for you. Honestly, any aerobic exercise can like lessen your anxiety. It's so helpful for people who have depression, or for people struggling with any mental health disorder. It's proven for being really good for your mental health, because when you're working out, you are pushing out those endorphins. Kind of like, you know, when they talk about a runner's high, when they feel like they're on top of the world, that's kind of what it is when you're working out. So just choose any aerobic exercise. Literally, you can walk, you can maybe go swimming if you want to, you could do your regular like weightlifting or go to the gym, whatever it might be, but it literally changes the chemicals that are being produced in your body. It changes them to chemicals that are going to help you feel good, so things like dopamine and serotonin and stuff like that. For workouts, if you guys are interested, I do have a bunch of workouts on my Instagram. You can follow me, I'll put it right here. But I always share really simple workouts that you can do, and I even work out at home as well. So, and the next thing that really helps me sometimes is turning this off. Not off, but putting it on like do not disturb. It's not like don't go on it at all, but try to limit yourself as much as you can, because it's just sometimes you're just looking for a distraction and you don't feel like doing anything, so you just kind of go on your phone and just aimlessly scroll. And honestly, just put it on do not disturb for a bit and try to pick up one of these other tricks that I just mentioned, so like reading, taking a bath, taking a shower, eating something, whatever it might be, to take care of yourself, because being on this for too long it just drains you, honestly. So those were my self-care tips. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do have your own self-care tips, leave them down below. But I really hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.